Jimmy Kimmel's audience is asking him to apologize for Knocked Loose because it scared them. That's amazing. Wait, really? Hold on, I gotta see that for myself. I knew Knocked Loose was going on Kimmel, which I thought was a weird fit in the first place. But if the audience is demanding an apology, that's spectacular. Jimmy Kimmel fans ask for formal apology after inviting heavy metal band Knocked Loose to perform. Oh, Poppy was there too. Jimmy Kimmel invited Knocked Loose and Poppy onto stage for his live show. They're known for their scream-like vocals and grungy guitar riffs. Best known song, Counting Worms, gained nearly 40 million streams on Spotify despite only containing one actual verse of lyrics. Knocked Loose is fun. I like Knocked Loose. Good lord, this website's not even loading because of all the ads it's trying to fucking shove down my throat. His normal viewers and often top commenters on Facebook were quick to diss the choice. One wrote, "You know, I was trying to enjoy the program. Well, that's your first problem. You were trying to enjoy a program. Why would you turn on Jimmy Kimmel for that? You were already doomed from the start. I was sitting on the couch with my son, who was an adolescent." I don't know why he's screaming that. "Waiting to see the musical guest because we like nice music the show usually books. By the third or fourth junt from the guitars, my son was in tears." What kind of fucking word is that? Junt? Like gent? We bringing gent back? Man's out here just dropping new nomenclature here like a gadoosh. I like it. He doesn't like scary things, and quite frankly, I think the Kimmel Show and its staff should make a formal apology. Man, your son needs to grow the fuck up. If guitar riffs are scaring him as an adolescent, come on. You're setting that kid up for failure. Man's gonna cry anytime there's a beautiful sunset. Oh wow, wait. They kind of went hard for this performance. They gave him pyrotechnics? Shooting flames? It's like the intro to Triple X here with Rammstein. And they're complaining about this? It's probably the most excitement Jimmy Kimmel viewers have ever seen. If I have to read the lyrics, I'll just read them and not listen to someone yell them. Huh? What the fuck? That wasn't singing. Anyone can yell lyrics and get paid. This what not enjoyable. And you can't understand more than 5% of the lyrics. Moshing doesn't not equal dancing. Who wrote this? Go back to 3rd grade. They were moshing in the pit too at Kimmel. I gotta see this performance actually. Be the first time I look at a Kimmel segment in years. Oh my, okay, I gotta show you a still from this. Look at this shit. Moshing at the Jimmy Kimmel Show? Why I never... What? Wow. Imagine being so joyless that you just can't appreciate the fun. Even if you don't like the music. Like, if this was country, I don't like country music very much, I'd still be like, they're having a good time. I don't need an apology from Jimmy Kimmel. At least it's not James Corden. Oh, James Corden would never. James Corden himself would probably go into cardiac arrest if Knocked Loose hit a single chug on the guitar. That man couldn't take it. Have you heard of Jeffrey Lash, the man who convinced his wife he was a shape-shifting super soldier and turned her house into a super lair? It's cool they brought Poppy too with Knocked Loose. This concert actually looks like it went hard. On Jimmy Kimmel of all places. How do I sing along with this? Lol, sounds just like a screaming frenzy to me. Actually starting to hurt my ears. People who listen to this have no room to complain about crying babies or screaming 2-year-olds taking a tantrum. Haha, unreal. They call this music, Jimmy? I'm gonna go to the Facebook page myself. These sound so good. Actually, most of the comments are pretty positive. Well, not really. Never mind. The first 3 were positive. The rest are people mad. Pretty cool. I will say, I think it'd be amazing if Jimmy Kimmel actually did come out, like, tears in his eyes, issuing an apology for scaring his viewers by putting Knocked Loose and Poppy on. That would be truly fantastic. You see that? Did you hear about the California man who tried to smuggle 71 pounds of meth using a cow onesie? Yeah, I read them earlier today, actually. It was pretty cool. He's arrested at the Los Angeles International Airport after he allegedly tried to check 2 suitcases filled with clothing soaked in methamphetamine, including a cow pajama onesie. Prosecutors have indicted Raj Matharu with 1 count of possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine. I can't believe they caught him. He's free right now on a $10,000 bond, so sleep in fear. Any onesie could be compromised. You hear about the cemetery charging mourners for VIP passes when they want to visit their dead relatives. What? Who owns that cemetery? Nintendo? Yeah, cemetery charges mourners for VIP pass to visit dead relatives to help keep gravesites safe from undesirables. Wow. Wow. The Garden of Remembrance located in the town of Stoke-on-Trent. That's the name of a town, Stoke-on-Trent? That sounds like an insult. That sounds like something you would say to someone during an argument. Fuck you. Well, Stoke-on-Trent, John. It says those who don't purchase a pass will only be able to enter the cemetery during office hours. From January 2025, the site will be protected by electric gates. The gates at the front of the site will open and close automatically at set times. Fuck me, it's like breaking into Area 51 just to visit a dead relative. The entrance to the cemetery... I keep saying cemetery. The entrance to the cemetery will be via VIP pass, making the site secure for our staff, families, and visitors. Please ensure you have your pass in good time for the new year. Okay, it claims that it costs 10 euros, approximately $12 per pass, for access to the Rose Garden, and $6 per pass to visit a grave. It's unclear whether it's a one-off fee or whether pass holders will be charged that amount each time they enter. Cool. The Disney Pass model, but for gravesites. That's awesome. That's just what we needed. Fucking microtransaction battle passes for cemeteries. Love it, love it. You gotta get your cemetery subscription in. Otherwise, you're not leaving flowers for Mima, I'll tell you that much. Kids, we bought a season pass to visit your grandma. Separate notice says non-VIP pass holders can still enter the grounds from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Oh, so it still has some public access. Please note there will be no access at the weekend, on bank holidays, or any other dates when the office is closed. Thanks for your cooperation. Now I need to pay a membership fee to visit my dad's grave, Jode Bourne, whose father, Mark Bourne, is buried in the grounds, wrote on Facebook. This is an absolute disgrace. Shame on you, Garden of Remembrance. This gravesite is absolutely beautiful. What? Look at this. That's a premium pass holder right there. Sounds like EA's behind it. Wait for the holiday season pass. It's gonna be big. That's true. Surge pricing model. Is that even legal? I guess they own the land. The owner, Jason Taft, hit back, telling a local newspaper that he spent approximately $10,000 on security and tech upgrades to keep it safe. VIP passes are believed to work as key cards that will open gates that provide access to the site. There's 1,300 graves there, and we could not send that many keys out, so people can come and get a card if they want one. We're not locking people out, and this gives them access till 9 p.m. when we would normally be closed. People can know it's safe when they're visiting, and they'll be safe from undesirables breaking in now. The key cards are not coming into force until January 1st because people wouldn't be happy if we did it before Christmas. They're not going to be happy in general, man. He handed out 90 free passes to the most vulnerable members of the community who have relatives buried there. What a hero. Pay-to-win cemetery experience, yeah. It's impossible to say what the worst feeling in the world might be. I think most people would default to answering that with something painful, like getting hit with a sledgehammer, getting shot. Childbirth is usually towards the top of that tier list for how painful it is. Maybe watching Rebel Moon Part 2 for how abominable it is. But I actually think there's a right answer to what the worst feeling in the world is. And it's being dead. And a YouTube channel called Watcher would agree with my analysis because they experienced death for about 3 days when they released their Goodbye YouTube video, where they announced that they were leaving the platform in order to have their own subscription-based third-party platform for their content going forward. And people didn't like that. They got spit on more than a mic at a beatboxing competition, and now they're backpedaling. They've released an apology, and they've announced that they've made a mistake, they've apologized, and they've talked about their plan going forward now. I'll bring you up to speed on the lore in case you're unfamiliar with this story, but this is a massive YouTube channel. They are a beloved group where they made this absolute wet fart of announcement where it was saying that they were going to be producing all of their content going forward behind a paywall on their own platform for $6 a month. So all of the content that their fans were used to getting on YouTube for free is now locked behind a $6 a month subscription fee. They said they continue to drop premieres on YouTube, but the rest of the season, well, that would cost you some clams to access. Obviously, this ruffled everyone's feathers, especially considering they already have a Patreon where people were signing up for monthly membership fees of $5, $10, or $25 a month, and this was an additional service on top of that for a monthly subscription, so it was just a disaster. And they lost close to like 100,000 subs over the course of 3 days. It wasn't quite 100K, but it was a lot. And now, today, they've released this.
Hey everyone, last Friday we announced that we're leaving YouTube and launching our new streaming platform.
We messed up. A lot of you spoke out with extremely valid comments and concerns, and we want to take the time now to address those.
We've been reading the things you've been saying, and we're sorry for the way we handled this, as well as the way we communicated it.
Right up front, it succeeds where a lot of other YouTuber apologies fail. They say they fucked up, and they say the golden word, I'm sorry. They make an apology right off rip. So it's a pretty good start to this one, all things considered.
We understand where you're coming from, and we're making immediate changes.
First, we want to affirm that you are the reason why we've been able to do anything at this company. You helped us every step of the way when we left BuzzFeed to start Watcher at the top of the pandemic in 2020.
You've supported us in so many ways by watching our content, attending our live shows, buying our merch, becoming members of our Patreon, and giving words of encouragement over the years.
This is another super strong moment here because it's tugging on the audience's heartstrings. It's very much buttering them up in a positive way. I'm not saying that as a negative thing. It's clear that they recognize the significance of having that audience. The whole content creation shit online doesn't work if no one's watching it. I mean, I guess if you had like an army of bots that view it, like you're a kick streamer or something, then maybe you can make an argument that it'd be sustainable even if you don't have a single human being watching. But clearly they understand that you need a passionate audience in order to survive in the online cyberspace Thunderdome. Now, there is something I want to mention here, though. He briefly mentions some of the ways the audience has supported them over the years, such as buying the merch, attending the live shows, subscribing to the Patreon for the monthly fee, and encouraging words. 3 out of 4 of those are huge revenue drivers. The kind words, not so much. You can't really make a whole lot of money. You can't convert nice comments to USD. There's no direct conversion there for that. I mean, unless you're making Hallmark cards, perhaps. But those other 3, attending live shows, subscribing to the Patreon, and also buying the merch. And there is a 4th one there as well, which is just by watching the videos, you are directly financially supporting them because AdSense through YouTube monetization, as well as the brand partners that have paid to be on their content. So they're already heavily monetized content, and I didn't even think about the live shows the first time I watched their video. That's a huge part of some teams' bottom lines because they bring in so much money. It's like one of the main revenue drivers for bands in particular with concerts and buying tickets to it. So they have a lot of revenue sources already for their brand. So then immediately after hearing that in this video, I was like, so then why did you want to do Watcher TV for $6 a month? You have all of these other streams that the audience has been supporting for so long. Why would you want to have another one to milk those titties dry? Like, it just doesn't seem right. It seems greedy. Now, they do shine some light on the motive behind doing this, the reason behind the Watcher TV idea in the first place. So we'll get to that pretty soon.
And we are incredibly grateful for your support.
We're sorry for how we originally delivered our goodbye message to YouTube. It was insensitive. We didn't properly express how much we appreciate all of you. And we did a really bad job of explaining the reasoning behind this transition.
We also want to deeply apologize for our ignorance around the impact of the cost. We regret stating and implying that it's a price that anybody can afford, and we fully acknowledge that it is not. We didn't take the proper consideration for how this cost would affect you, and hope you know that we are taking this as a serious learning experience.
It seems like they really did listen to pretty much all the feedback. They're hitting all of the main points, both in their delivery as well as the actual idea behind this venture. So it's nice that they're up here taking the accountability and saying, yeah, these are things that we really just didn't even think about. I'm sorry, we fucked it up. Like that is something that you don't see very often, so it's nice to see them just take it on the chin here.
With that in mind, we're making some changes to ensure that there's a way for our community to continue watching our content for free.
If you want to watch our shows early and ad-free, you can catch them on the Watcher platform a month earlier. After that, you'll be able to watch our shows on YouTube for free. For those that have already subscribed to the platform, we are so grateful for your support. But if this change has you rethinking your membership, we will issue a full refund. And all past episodes and series will remain available on YouTube.
That's a pretty solid change overall. That is something you see for a lot of Patreons for YouTubers or third-party offerings if it's not Patreon. So it does make sense that they do this here. I am surprised that that's not something they were already offering on Patreon with early access. That's one of the more standard ones. But I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If there's people that are just hungry, starved for more Watcher content, they can subscribe for $6 a month on that platform and they get that content fed to them a month early. And those that don't want to or can't afford to can just wait for it to premiere on YouTube for free, as it has always done in the past for the content that they've come to know and love. That gets 2 thumbs way up from me for the back of the DVD box on that change. I think that's completely fine. Everyone wins there. If you really want the content early, you subscribe to the early access membership for Watcher TV. And if you just want to get the content that you already know you like, you just wait for it to come up on YouTube, and it's no different for you. So I think that is a totally fair compromise.
As for the question of why we decided to launch our own platform, when we started Watcher in 2020, we wanted to create shows that we were proud of, that we had ownership over, and that would provide you the caliber of content that we felt you deserved. However, we were finding it harder and harder to stay relevant to advertisers and the constantly changing YouTube landscape.
This is where my eyebrow raised a bit, so I decided to look into their content just briefly. I didn't do like a full deep dive here, but of their last 20 videos, 12 of them have brands on them. I'm excluding their Goodbye YouTube video, but also there's one more in that batch of 20 that I think doesn't really count, and it's a teaser trailer for the mystery files that they did, so it was just a very short trailer. But 12 out of 19 full videos have sponsors in them. As I mentioned in the last video, I own an agency that manages a lot of major YouTube channels of this size and bigger. So I know what a lot of those deals look like, and I know that those deals are super lucrative. And at their size, those are significant numbers that we're looking at. Over half of their videos of the last 20 are brand partnered. It doesn't seem like they were really struggling to get brands on their content, so I don't exactly know what he means by staying relevant to brands, especially because in this industry, brands focus mainly on your cold, hard Carfax, your metrics, your numbers, and they pull in great viewership numbers as well as a very engaged community. So brands must have hearts in their eyes anytime they get the chance to work with Watcher, just because their numbers are so good. But on top of that, they actually produce some of the most brand-friendly content imaginable. This is the type of shit brands salivate over. It's long-form, highly produced content, and the creators actually do skits for the ads. At least in all the ones I've seen. They do like a fully produced brand piece in this content. So the audience actually enjoys watching these ads. That is a match made in heaven for sponsors. So I was very confused on what he meant by staying relevant to brands. And then the second thing about, staying relevant in like the ever-changing YouTube ecosystem, that's a totally understandable one. I get that. The YouTube ecosystem is 100% like this boogeyman that no one fully understands. But it doesn't really make sense to me. We found it harder and harder to compete in the ever-changing YouTube landscape, so we abandoned it. We waved the white flag and said we're defeated, so we created our own platform with blackjack and hookers. That's a Futurama reference. I'm not saying that's what Watcher TV is. But the point is, why would you go from this is a lot going on YouTube and it's changing to, all right, guess we got to leave it now and then charge people for access? That just doesn't really compute to me, because you kill your brand, obviously, which I think they've recognized now from all the feedback. It's very hard to get people to subscribe to $6 a month content on a third-party platform they don't know, as opposed to just showing them some free YouTube videos. You built your brand very successfully on YouTube, and you are still only growing from everything I can tell. So why would you abandon it at the height of your growth, right? Like that, I don't know, that reason doesn't really make a ton of sense to me, but I understand being like afraid about, you know, long-term sustainability with how frequently YouTube is changing. I do get that, but I feel like the natural progression there would be like, okay, so how can we stay competitive on YouTube, as opposed to, okay, how the fuck can we get out of here?
We faced some incredibly challenging decisions. We didn't want to compromise our content to ensure they met advertising requirements, and we definitely did not want to lay people off that have brought Watcher to life behind the scenes, and we didn't want to bring Watcher to a close, which would have happened if we stayed solely on YouTube.
That's why we decided to launch the platform, so that we as a company could continue, we could pay our staff fairly, and not only continue to make great content for you, but expand with new shows, new voices, all ad-free. And now with the addition of accessible options, this is a decision that we all believe is the best for Watcher.
All those reasons he lists are perfectly reasonable. You don't want to lay off your staff, great. You want to pay them fair, great. Like all of these, they check mark the boxes of good shit. I support that. But I don't understand why your only option was to leave YouTube and charge $6 a month to your audience that's already paying for more merch, live shows, and Patreon. At least a large number of them are. They have over 13.4 thousand Patreon members right now. From all of this controversy, their Patreon has actually flourished more than it ever has, from what I can see. So why would you want to take even more money out of their piggy banks here? The strategy would be to keep growing on YouTube so you can continue to monetize, you can charge higher rates to the brands that you work with, that I imagine you will continue to work with. And also, more views means more AdSense money. And like I said, this channel is so advertiser friendly. It's exactly what brands and YouTube themselves want, long form, high quality content. Their RPM is probably super fucking high. So the more they would grow on YouTube, the more money they would stand to make. They would easily be able to expand, I would think, without charging $6 a month for their initial idea of paywalling the content that they were used to giving for free. I do like their new model of pay $6 a month for early access, but I still do find it unnecessary. I feel like the only reason that's there is because they can't fully walk back that now. They can't just get rid of that because people have already paid for it, so they need to offer something to those people that have already signed up. But I don't think it's a necessary thing for the survival of their brand. I really don't. Like I said, I know what these brands pay to be on the content. So just their sponsorships, I know they're bringing in six figures from these sponsorships. Easy. And their Patreon, you can start crunching the numbers. 13.4 thousand Patreons at $5 minimum, up to $25. Like, come on. That's a lot per month. Plus their merch. Their merch is pretty pricey, and people are clearly buying their merch. It seems to sell out quite a bit. That's a lot too. Live show tickets, when those come around, that's a pretty big influx. Their AdSense popping off. Like, they have so many revenue streams, I don't know how they can possibly be at this point where they need to find more ways of taking money from their audience in order to survive. That just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, unless there's some really odd mismanagement going on behind the scenes here. The videos they make aren't cheap, but I am confident that they're not costing them $500,000 per video or something outlandish like that. I know that's not the case. So how can you possibly be at this point where we had to find a new subscription for people to pay for in order to keep Watcher alive? I just don't get that.
However, we realized that in figuring out the logistics of what this might take, we overlooked the way it would impact all of you. We hope you'll be patient with us through these mistakes, and we remain incredibly sorry that they were made in the first place.
We also want to directly address our Patreon community, who have played such a key role in supporting us from the very beginning. All current Patreon members will receive a free subscription code to the platform. If you already purchased a subscription, please contact us and we will issue you a full refund.
We look forward to continuing to make shows and introducing all the incredible things that we've got planned for the platform alongside YouTube. And in the meantime, we are forever grateful to all of the people who make up our community. And we hope that you consider joining us in this next chapter of our journey, whether that's on YouTube or on the platform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Overall, this is a good apology video, I feel. They say I'm sorry multiple times, they admit their faults, they try and explain why things were the way that they are, and how they missed the mark. Like, they take a lot of it and seem to understand it from a place of genuine authenticity, which is great. I still, however, don't understand why it reached that point to begin with. I don't see how a channel of their size and their success with all of the revenue streams that they currently offer could possibly be struggling financially. I really don't understand. I don't. Like, knowing what I know about this space, I just don't see how they could be needing to take even more money from their audience to survive. I do think they made a good change with what they're offering for $6 a month. I personally don't think that it's necessary at all, though, especially because the way they frame it in this video makes it sound like that's the only way the watcher survives, is if they find a way to monetize even more off the backs of their viewers. So that's why the $6 a month there is being charged, because it helps keep them afloat. I don't know how they could possibly, with all of these revenue streams, be struggling to the degree that they make it seem like they are. But whatever, that's neither here nor there, I suppose. This announcement was very positively received by their audience, and that's the most important thing for the health of their channel and their brand, is that their audience feels satisfied with this update. And from what I can tell, they do. A lot of them do still state that there's been a breach of their trust here with what they tried, but it seems like they're forgiving and willing to see how things play out for this group in the future. So I guess we'll see what the watcher does down the line. That's really about it. So yeah. There's a video floating around right now that has to be the worst celebration I have ever seen. Now, something I've said for a while that no one really thinks about is that celebrations can sometimes be dangerous. I remember there was a very famous case where a football player had scored, I think it was the game-winning touchdown, and his team and all of their hype and like excitement dogpiled him like it was a scene out of The Waterboy, and ended up like breaking his pelvis. And I think that ended his career. But I also will never forget, when I was a kid, I actually watched Bill Gramatica, who was the kicker for the Cardinals at the time, tear his ACL through a very simple celebration after a first quarter field goal. So what happened with Bill Gramatica is he kicked this field goal, he's like, yeah, fuck yeah! And then to celebrate, he did one of these. How wild would that have been if I blew out my ACL doing it? But he gave a little leap, pumped his fist, and upon landing, blew out his ACL, MCL, DVD, VHS, CBS, and BBL. Like, absolutely annihilated his knee, and his career was never quite the same. But even with these historic celebration blunders, the one I'm about to show you today, I still feel is worse.
5 points go to Shea Byrne, 20 to Alex Lowe's, Josh Brooks on 16, Kirkham 13, Bridewell 11, Keith Farmer on 10, and the rest down to 10th place Josh Waters. Shaky Byrne, then the 42nd race win of his British Superbike career, the perfect start as, Josh Brooks there, giving very unkindly dousing the MCE insurance girls who sensibly got their crash helmets. Oh dear me, they haven't got that crash helmet under there, Shaky, thank you very much. Alex Lowe's in second place there, Samsung Honda, very, very sensibly realising with about 4 laps to go that Shaky had the legs on him, and he would just...
You ever get so excited you just sexually assault someone? Like, I'm pretty sure that would be classified as sexual assault, right? Like, you can't just start putting things up people's orifices without their consent, no matter what the context is. Like, this is clearly not in the script. He, like, goes under her skirt and then blasts the champagne shower there like some kind of geyser, like a volcanic eruption. That's just downright diabolical, and I know it was probably painful, too. Now, I've never butt-chugged, but I have to imagine getting alcohol forcibly shot up your asshole is going to hurt. And contrary to popular belief, I don't have a vagina, but if I did, I would imagine that would be equally as painful, having all of that shot there too. It would sting and burn. Like, if I was getting alcohol being blasted up my bussy, I'm screaming. Like, let's say Moist Esports wins the Apex World Championship this year, and Matt decides to celebrate by hitting me with, like, the 1,000 years of pain. I'm pressing charges. Now, real quick, I want to jump in here and give all of you watching something to celebrate. Plague Seeker issue 1 is here. My newest comic book series. It's 80 pages of just the most beautiful, most over-the-top, fucking violent, raw action you'll ever see in a comic book. I swear to God. As I mentioned with Plague Seeker, I was heavily inspired by Berserk for this one. And every single page of this is just a masterpiece. The artist, Vampire absolutely knocked it out of the park. Like, no matter where you go in here, it's like a beautiful piece that you'd want to hang on your wall. So, issue 1 is here. You can find it at badegg.co. It's written by myself and Jackson, and the entire team put together something super special here. The artist is Vampire, extremely talented. The lettering is done by Dave Sharp. So yeah, definitely go pick up a copy at Plague Seeker. There'll be a link to it in the description, badegg.co. Also, it's more than just action, by the way. It's just, I think the action in issue 1 goes so fucking hog wild, like Insano style, that I can't help but mention it. Now, admittedly, I'm not super familiar with Superbike and the traditions when it comes to celebrations, but I still feel terrible for these podium girls here, because for some reason, all 3 of the dudes on stage there are showering just them in the champagne, and it doesn't seem like they like it, and even the announcer was like, oh my, that is very unkind. To the first guy who's just behind him super soaking them with the champagne, he's just sitting there using them like target practice for it. For some reason. Like, is that normal? Is that what they're there for? Just to be like a sponge for champagne? That sucks. But even if that is the role that they agreed to, they clearly did not agree to having someone go underneath and like violate them with champagne. That is very much crossing a line. That is not part of their contract, I imagine. The whole celebration is just weird from all 3 of them. So obviously the main guy who goes under her skirt, his name is Shane Byrne, or Shaky as they call him. But the other 2 guys as well, I don't really understand it. All of them targeted the 2 podium girls, when in every other celebration for every other sport, usually the champagne shower is towards the crowd, or like each other, or like their team. Not just like the 2 girls standing there at the podium. It just feels weird, but for some reason, all 3 of the dudes just come up and start, like, blasting them with champagne like they had a grudge against them. It was like a hazing ritual or something. They were, like fucking bullying them with the champagne. Maybe they were, bad blood between them or something, but it just seemed, like, brutal. Like, it seemed like they had, like, a bone to pick with them. Now, after this started to make the rounds in 2021, Shaky did come forward to issue an apology in regards to the situation.
I'm aware of a video that's currently circulating on social media of myself in 2013 where I inappropriately sprayed a promotional lady with champagne on the podium. I'd like to say I deeply regret what I did that day and I'm truly sorry. I'd like to apologise not just to the lady but to the other women on the podium that day, to all of my fans and to anybody else that's been offended by my actions. I can only apologise and I'm truly sorry.
Super short, super simple, just saying that he deeply regrets what he did, he apologizes for it, says sorry to all those affected, and is trying to close the book on all of it. I still can't quite wrap my head around how this celebration even crossed his mind as appropriate or some kind of good idea. Like, I understand getting lost in, like, excitement, right? Like, I've celebrated some super important achievements in my life, like checkmating XQC in 6 moves and then going on to win the entire chess tournament, which is where the entire throbbing celebration from me came from. But at no point was I ever so excited that all common sense and reasoning just went out the window. I understand celebrations that lead to injury far more than I understand this celebration that led to an enema. Like, Bill Grammatica celebrating like, yeah, and then blowing out his ACL, I get, like, you're fucking pumped, you jump and you hurt yourself. Unlucky. Or another football player, I remember, got like a sack, and then he jumped up in the air and stomped both feet down, and he like broke his leg doing it. Those I get. Like, you're excited, you let out a bunch of steam all at once, and then you end up just breaking your body from it. But this, he was so excited that he just goes to like fucking Neanderthal brain. He's like, whoa! And then like shoots champagne up her butthole. That shit just doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, I saw this today and I just had to talk about it a little bit. That it has to be the worst celebration I've ever seen. Again, I feel horrible for the 2 podium ladies during this because this shit is cruel. This looks awful. Now, I do want to just mention again, Plague Seeker issue 1 has been a passion project for about 2 years now, so to see issue 1 finally be out there, I'm super excited for all of you to get your hands on it and get to read it. I'm also going to go ahead and drop the animation we had made for the initial release for issue 0, because I think that this animation just goes so fucking hard, and it also just sets the stage for what Plague Seeker is about, for any of you that are curious.
1,000 years ago, humankind ruled the earth. even in their failings, they prospered across the planet. But that would all change in the blink of an eye. We called it the Calamity. Those who persevered beyond the impact never truly survived. The mutations made them something more than human. It drove them mad. Those closest to the Calamity were transformed completely. Known as plagues, their overwhelming power leaves all helpless as they seek to dominate our world. The worst of them were born where nothing had the right to survive. Terrifying beings known to us as the Great Plagues. 8 in total spread themselves across the planet, each ruling their own territory. Without mercy, they shaped our world. And yet there was one that not a soul dare speak of. Born at the very center of the impact. A plague far different than all the others. He bore the strongest curse of them all. An insatiable hunger to devour the other 8.
I thought it was appropriate to do a little drama follow-up and update to a few stories I've covered over the last few days now that they've begun to settle down a bit and the smoke has started to clear. So this will be the little after credits scene to a movie to give you closure. The first one being the clown YouTuber that violated the Geneva Convention of the Internet and committed the unforgivable war crime of abusing YouTube's copyright takedown system and strike system in order to bully creators that were making fun of him. Now, normally I'd call someone like this a mustache-twirling evil supervillain, but that just doesn't apply here because I'm pretty sure this guy couldn't grow a single fucking molecule of facial hair if he was given 1,000 years in the wilderness surviving off nothing but bear liver. It's just not in his DNA. His name is Brent Rivera. He's a massive channel. Unfortunately, he was born with glass bones and paper skin, so when people started making fun of him, those words cut deeper than Excalibur ever could. So he turned to his team and looked for a solution, and what they suggested was the nuclear option of filing takedown requests and copyright claims on people that were being mean to him, that were kicking sand in his face on YouTube and ruining his reputation at the middle school lunch tables. Now, this isn't one of those like silly, trivial, oops-a-daisy moments that people just forgive and forget as if it never mattered. This is a very well understood, severe thing that can legitimately ruin someone's career based on nothing other than hurt feelings. It's also illegal what Brent Rivera did, which is knowingly filing bogus takedown requests and copyright claims. That's not exactly allowed. So he used this option against some people that were making videos that weren't positive about him, and one of the most vocal victims was a channel named Dumpy. Dumpy fought back very hard against what had happened because his channel was at risk of being taken away from him because he had hurt this asshole's feelings. Now, the situation was YouTube actually sided with Dumpy and they weren't going to take down the videos, but they did end up taking down one piece of content, which is still alarming. And the future of his channel was, of course, in a pretty scary spot, not knowing what Brent Rivera would do next, like would he double down on it and try and go even harder? So he was rightfully upset and concerned. And now it's been 2 days since then, and Dumpy has posted a follow-up video where he went over the whole situation and actually showed a DM that Brent Rivera sent to him which claims that he will be releasing all of the copyright notices on his channel, and then even says that he applauds him for grinding and putting in the work to make a career on YouTube. It's something that a lot of people are scared to do, but you have proven otherwise. I wish you all the success on YouTube and your career, bro. Hope he can resolve this. He also says that he won't be taking down any of his future videos if he makes them, and I hope that extends to everyone who has made videos about you, Brent, not just Dumpy being the biggest one. That should be a no-brainer that people are allowed to criticize you and make videos talking about your content without fear of you coming in and trying to snatch their entire fucking channel away because your feelings got hurt. So hopefully it's not just Dumpy that you're doing this for. But I do want to mention that second paragraph where he talks about, like, Dumpy's grind and how he's, like, proud of it, happy to see it, and, you know, wishing him nothing but the best in it. To me, that just reads very insincere and phony. That seems like very corporate PR speak, because his whole grind and everything you had a huge issue with because it was at your expense. So why are you going to pretend like you actually really appreciate it and admire it? Like, just be honest. Like, it just doesn't seem honest at all. There's no reason to put up a facade. You can just be like, bro, your videos fucking hurt my feelings. I overreacted. Yeah, is what it is. I'm releasing it now. I see this as a big fuck up, a big blunder. And that'd be a lot more respectable than trying to put on this, like, bro, you're a fucking grinder. You're out there nuts to butts and you're doing it big. That shit is so fucking lit. And I know you're going to keep doing big things. I am so proud of you, actually. I'm so fucking proud of you. Patting him on the ass. Like, that just, it's not genuine. Like, and there's just no reason to even pretend to be. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Brent really did love it. You know, I couldn't tell you. I just, it doesn't seem that way. But that's not where that ends, because when Dumpy posted this video going over all of it, Brent went into the comment section to do a super thanks. And this is probably a feature none of you know about. I don't have it turned on for my channel, but it is something that exists on the platform where you can just directly donate to a creator in their comment section and it highlights your message. Brent used that feature and donated $400 to Dumpy and said this. In the meantime, while the copyright request is being retracted, here's something to help, smiley face. Again, sorry about that, bro. So he's putting an apology on the back of $400 here. Dumpy did reply to this. He didn't really accept the apology, and then also mentioned that he still has active copyrights against other creators that he's aware of, which, you know, I think Dumpy is well within his right to not accept that apology, because, you know, it's you almost took away his entire fucking career because he hurt your feelings. There's not really a whole lot you can do to make Dumpy like you or just, like, forgive that. It's just a matter of moving on from it. You are doing the right thing, which everyone will appreciate. You are walking back on this bullshit here with these takedown requests. That is good, but I just don't think there's a whole lot you can do to earn anyone's trust back or view you positively. It's something that you'll have to prove over a long period of time if you actually learned anything from this whole situation. He says that him and his team responded too emotionally to it, which he's absolutely right on, but this is an option that should have never been considered in the first place, obviously. So yeah, that's kind of the update here. He is retracting the copyright takedowns and the claims and whatever, so that is great, though his image is still ruined as a result of all of it, but big appreciation for doing the right thing. So that's always good. Now moving on to the next one that I'd like to give an update on. It's my least favorite Twitch streamer. This was a Polish woman who was streaming while driving, and while looking at her phone, because she was distracted driving and just looking at her fucking phone while driving, she ran over someone's dog. It is an absolutely awful video to sit through. It is fucking painful to listen to. It was very, very sad. This absolute imbecile even mentioned that there were a lot of dogs around near the road, and then got a notification on her phone from Twitch chat, so she went down to just fucking stare at Twitch chat for a very long time, and then just blasts one of the dogs. I was under the impression, as most people were, that the animal didn't make it, especially judging by the sounds that it was making, and just the speed that this girl was driving. Like, this was like some Fast and Furious shit. She was like fucking drifting around. I'm exaggerating, but she was going very fast. But apparently, the dog is okay. Pyrocynical made a video on this and actually did a very thorough deep dive, finding some very interesting sources to follow up on what happened, because this took off on Polish social media. Like, it went big in the Polish community. And according to some pretty seemingly reliable sources, the dog is okay. The dog is fine and it will recover fine. which is miraculous. This dog is made out of pure fucking adamantium. Took a hit from a speeding vehicle and then is walking it off, just rubbing some dirt in it, and is going to be okay, apparently, which is a fantastic thing to hear. That is great news from this awful situation, but it in no way excuses this streamer. I still think she needs to face legal ramifications for what she's done. I have absolutely no sympathy for any distracted driving whatsoever, whether it be drunk driving, texting and driving, fucking reading Twitch chat thoroughly while driving like she's trying to fucking spell check some assignment, just literally staring at chat more than she's looking at the road. I have no forgiveness for that kind of shit. She should absolutely lose her license at the very least, but I am happy to learn that the dog is okay from this incident, assuming all of the information Pyrocynical has put out there is accurate, and it does seem accurate from everything I've seen. So I just wanted to give that follow-up. That's like actually a nice happy ending there. The best ending would be dog is fine, and also the girl gets punished heavily for this whole situation. That'd be optimal, but right now I'll settle for the dog being okay. So yeah, I just wanted to give these two little quick follow-ups to these stories that I recently talked about, since more came about from them. And that's really about it. So yeah. You all know how much I love awful YouTuber apology videos, but today I've got something truly special to show you. This is the magnum opus of saying I'm sorry. It doesn't come from a YouTuber either. This comes from a basketball player, and he completely redefined the apology video meta. He made an entire apology documentary. I'm talking about Draymond Green. Now, I don't know how many of you are some red-blooded American, brewski-boofing, patriotic sports fans, but I'm going to break down the situation for those of you that aren't and don't know what I'm referring to. Draymond Green is a professional basketball player, plays for the Warriors, and recently he was filmed in practice punching his teammate after an argument. I can't show the video because YouTube will probably age restrict it for shocking and disturbing content, which it's not. So I'll just paint the picture with words here. So Draymond Green and Jordan Poole are at practice, and then some words get exchanged between the two. I can't read their lips, and the quality looks like it's straight out of 2001 off of a goddamn Motorola Razr, so the quality's fucking abysmal. Don't know what they said to each other, but they were some not nice words being exchanged. Perhaps Jordan Poole hit him with a SpongeBob reference that he didn't appreciate, something like, "Hey pal, you just blow in from Stupid Town." Then Draymond Green gets up in his face. Jordan Poole pushes him off, and in response to that, Draymond Green fucking cranks a mean one and lets a Go-Go Gadget Extendo knuckle sandwich fly, absolutely blasting Jordan Poole. I don't think it was a full-blown knockout, but Jordan Poole did hit the ground hard. Like, he went down harder than the UPS delivery driver throwing my packages at the door. But this is where this fight started and stopped. The team separated the two of them, and the video was leaked to TMZ, and this became a huge deal in the entire sports world. Afterwards, Draymond Green did issue an apology publicly, saying he was sorry for the whole situation and how embarrassed he was by it. But clearly he wasn't embarrassed enough, because he decided to shamelessly make a documentary about this whole situation as well. The man made a full-blown, goddamn Michael Moore-style documentary on his punch of his teammate. It's so weird and goofy. I'm going to show that to you now, at least bits and pieces of it, but I also want to let you all know, if you're not familiar with Draymond Green, the guy has a reputation for being a bit of a douchebag. If you just type in Draymond Green hitting players in the nuts, you can watch full compilations of how many times he's kicked other basketball players in their ball sack. He's made a habit out of it. There's one player in particular, Steven Adams. I believe he's kicked him in his fucking jewels 3 times. 2 times in one game, if I remember correctly. So he's got a reputation for being a bit of a dirty player and a bit of an asshole. So this was just a nice cherry on top of that already pretty bad reputation.
On October 5th, Draymond Green and teammate Jordan Poole got into a verbal altercation during practice. The incident ended with Draymond punching Poole in the face.
Yeah, they pulled out all the stops for this one, all the bells and whistles. They got a professional voiceover here, making it sound very official, professional. And you would think most people in general would want to move on from a controversy like this. Just, apologize, put your head down and ignore it, so that way it will hopefully go away faster. But for some reason, Draymond and the whole team that put this piece together really like to roll around in the drama of this, making it a spectacle. I don't know what they thought was a good idea about this, making a documentary to explain the punch. It's totally unnecessary. I think everyone understands what happened here. Draymond got upset and punched his teammate. It's very simple. It's like the simplest story ever told. Yet they're making it seem like a very complex issue with very many moving parts to it that we don't fully grasp, thus need a documentary to explain it to our little idiot brains here. It makes no sense to me. They're just here trying to squeeze as much milk from this controversy as possible, just grabbing it by the tit to get as much juice from the squeeze as they can.
I think you're initially upset, pissed off, which is why you have the reaction you have.
You don't say. The reason you punch people is because you're upset and pissed off? Fucking truly groundbreaking revelations here. My third eye is open. My mind is being expanded. Just please slow down here, Socrates. We're tackling some very profound and deep things now. You're telling me there's a correlation between being upset and punching someone? No, what?
Part of the process of why did this happen? And walking yourself through why. The different things that can get you to why what took place actually took place.
It's not that deep. I wasn't even there and I could tell you why this happened. Because he hurt your feelings and you lashed out, you had a little temper tantrum and punched him. It's not a confusing situation that needs like a deep explanation. The only question I'd be asking is, why didn't you aim for his nutsack like you normally do?
Now that you process what just happened, now you've processed the why. Now how do you feel and what do you feel about it?
What in the fuck are you even saying? Jesus Christ, you punched your teammate. That's it. I don't think after the punch you immediately went into a sensory deprivation tank to meditate on it and really dig deep into the weeds and figure out, well, why did this happen and how am I feeling about it? Like, did you go immediately and see a psychiatrist or something? Like, what are you going on about here? Jesus. Imagine Jordan Poole. You get punched and the guy who punched you makes a documentary about it. You already know Jordan Poole and the rest of the team are laughing at Draymond Green for this one. And rightfully so. The man is the protagonist of premium cringe right now.
So you get at a time, you give it some time to allow people to throw their opinion out, which quite frankly, I don't care about people's opinion.
Yeah, this really seems like someone who doesn't care about people's opinion. He cares so little about your opinion that he made an entire documentary whining about the situation. That's how little of a fuck he gives about what you think about him. Now, please, shed some tears for this forgiveness documentary he's made.
I don't spend much time, I don't really read many tweets at all. And so I was just at home chilling with my children. If you want me to be honest with you, I still don't know how much the world may think it blew up.
Sparked by the leak of the video, the incident did blow up.
The classic, I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't think it was a big deal. I was at home with my family being a loving father, and in fact, I'm one of the best fathers on the planet. I'm not a bad guy. In fact, I was just so preoccupied being the best dad of all time that I didn't even stop to notice that people were upset at me for a video that was taken or something. I don't even know if it was a big deal at all.
I apologize to his family. For me, that is the task at hand, to rebuild trust in our locker room. I felt as a man, I felt as a leader, that I will do everything that I can to make this right.
That's a clip from his public apology when this first started blowing up, and I actually thought it was fine. He said, I'm sorry to Jordan, his family, his team, and then explained how he's going to try and make things right and make things better and get trust back in the locker room. And then a week later, he makes this absolutely insane documentary about the punch. So clearly something went awry there. The first response he had, I think, was okay. He's just like, you know what, I fucked up. It is what it is, and I'm sorry. And now he goes full Hollywood here, sniffing his own farts, and makes a documentary surrounding this punch.
It's on me to make sure we're headed that way. Time clarity, you know what it is, I know what it is. Continue to move forward, put it behind us. It helps. Allows you to start the process. And get back to business. That's where I go from here. That's where we go from here.
Gotta love how this video is supposed to be like an explanation for why it happened and a little documentary surrounding it, but it doesn't even do that. It doesn't do the bare minimum. He just says well, why did it happen? And it's the process of understanding why it happened, but never even says why it happened. He never even explains why he did it. I mean, everyone knows why he punched him, like we all get it, but this whole documentary was built around the idea of, well, here's his chance to defend himself and give his side of, what happened here and how regretful he is. But it doesn't even do that. But you want to know the best part of this documentary? It says nothing. It doesn't even make a point. It's just like, hey, here's Draymond Green, he punched this guy, and here's him moderately reflecting on it. And then he goes back to practice, and he says it's time to get back to work, and he hopes he could lead the team better now. That's it. That's the whole documentary. Like, it has no purpose whatsoever. It's mind-blowing that this got made, but regardless, that's pretty much where the documentary ends. It's very silly. And I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's a wild set of circumstances here. Making a documentary about your outburst punching your teammate is such a bold move. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. What's up, everybody? It's Critical. I know everyone hates YouTube drama, but I'm not one of them. In fact, this has become one of my biggest guilty pleasures, just watching YouTube drama unfold from afar. This is my soap opera. This is my As the World Turns, fucking As the YouTube Burns. That's what this is. And it's great. It's just this big hubbub over very mundane things on the website, and it's become so popular recently, and I can't help but kind of tune in because it's very fascinating. And one thing I always look forward to in these situations is the inevitable apology video from one of the two sides, because they're usually just absolutely atrocious and very fun to watch. Now, I'm sure anyone watching this is familiar with the CSGO Lotto drama. To sum it up, two big YouTubers, Syndicate and T. Martin, own this gambling website for Counter-Strike skins, and they never disclosed that they owned it and manipulated their viewers into using it and all this shit. And today, T. Martin made an apology video for it, and it is turbo shitty. So I wanted to just kind of talk about it. So the video starts with T. Martin talking to his special guest Airbud, and they're running a promotional for Airbud's new movie, Airbud Gambles on CSGO Skins, and he's saying how difficult it's going to be for him to make this video. So right away, T. Sharton has made me very uncomfortable and squirming in my chair like my rectum's been tickled by a fucking porcupine, because it's the most cringeworthy attempt at using one of the most popular techniques for public service announcements and emotional campaigns, where you get a cute animal there to get the viewer's guard down, make them feel like you're being real with them, make them feel like they're being genuine, and just kind of elicit sympathy from the viewer. And T. Martin's trying to utilize this technique, but he does it atrociously. It's just an absolutely abysmal attempt, and it comes across as so fake and so forced and just sets a horrible tone for the rest of the apology video. Now, I'm not going to play too much of the video because there's nothing to really be gained by listening to this human Ken doll repeat himself. The gist of the apology is he is sorry that you were too fucking stupid to understand that he was the owner of CSGO Lotto, and he is sorry for not spelling it out for your dumb ass every single day in every single video, reminding you that he owned it. It's your fault. This controversy is nothing that he's done wrong. It is just your fault as a viewer for not knowing that he owns CSGO Lotto, and he makes it very clear that he has done nothing illegal whatsoever. That's basically all this apology video is shifting the blame for this whole controversy on his audience. It's the audience's fault for not understanding or knowing that he was the owner of the website. That's basically this whole thing. So this no-nippled Neanderthal doesn't address any of the actual complaints or issues people had about this situation. He doesn't talk about why he blatantly lied about owning CSGO Lotto. He doesn't talk about why he changed the descriptions of all of his videos to add a disclaimer in the description, and he also doesn't talk about why he pretended to find CSGO Lotto instead of saying he made it or owned it. I'm not going to get too deep into talking about the actual drama because there's nothing I can offer that hasn't already been talked about or discussed. But basically, he just pretended like he found CSGO Lotto when he brought it up as if it was some type of random chance. Oh, I was on Google looking for new $2 million villas to buy that I could use as public shitting arenas where I can invite homeless people in to just shit in all the rooms in the house if they'd like, because I'm a good guy, But while I was looking for this, I happened to come across a diamond in the rough. It's called CSGO Lotto. I'll put the link in the description in case you guys want to check it out. It's kind of cool. It looks really nice. I hear the owner has a massive dick. It's a cool site, I think it's good. I'm not associated in any way. That's basically what he did. He pretended he didn't know what it was, and he doesn't talk about any of these issues in his apology video. This man doesn't take responsibility for shit. What he needed to do was grit his tiny tic-tac ass teeth and just say, look, I fucked up, I did this, I did that, I shouldn't have done any of those things, and he would have got a lot more respect out of people, and they wouldn't have seen him as this fucking asshole that I think the majority of people see him as now after this apology video. Because all of this comes across as so fake, and just reading the comments and just looking at how people are reacting, they all see right through it. He is just sorry he got caught, that is all. He doesn't give a fuck about the situation or his audience in general. He just wants people to keep watching him no matter what so he can continue to live in his expensive 2-story mansion with his nice truck in the background and that peculiar modern art painting in the background that looks like Solid Snake inside of a Mr. Meeseek's uterus. I'm not quite sure what the fuck's going on with that, but I'm sure it's about $50,000. Now, I'm sure he knows that it doesn't really matter how he handled this situation. He's going to be fine in 2 months no matter what. In fact, he'll probably be better off in 2 months than he is right now because everyone has heard his name so much recently, they're going to check him out of curiosity. So he's not going to really lose many viewers, and he'll actually probably gain more. He knows that he could have handled this situation any way he wanted. He could have shown his asshole on this apology video, and still everything would be fine. His lifestyle wouldn't be affected, his profession, none of that would be affected, and he knows that, so he doesn't really give too much of a fuck. And another thing that really upset me about this video is the way he ended it. He ended it with him grabbing the camera like he was about to give me a fucking Ghost Rider penance stare. Come on, bro, you gotta do better than that. Edit that shit out. Have you never edited your own video? Do you just have beavers slap their fucking tail on your keyboard and edit your shit? Come on, pussy fart, do better than that. Now, I know everyone talks about, oh, how do you kill a YouTube channel? There's just no way. They're too big to fall. That's bullshit. A YouTube channel can die just like any other website or any other company, anything like that. All it takes is for people to stop watching them. If you really feel passionately enough that you really don't want this guy to be able to continue to manipulate people and do types of shady shit, stop watching him. It's that easy. Don't go on his channel to dislike and insult the guy. It doesn't fucking matter. It just really makes no difference. If you want a YouTube channel to disappear, you stop watching it. That's how it works. That's how it works with a lot of shit in the world. If you just give it attention, it's going to persist. There's no such thing as bad publicity. That's a saying for a reason, because as long as it's being talked about, it's going to continue to exist no matter people's opinions on it. The only way things really do fade into obscurity is you stop supporting them or just acknowledging them. That's a better word for it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this situation because this is one of the worst apology videos I've seen out of a YouTube drama situation, so I thought it'd be fun to talk about. So yeah, that's it. And I do read a lot of your comments. In fact, one of my favorite comments I've ever read is someone said, "My voice sounds like the world's most unenthusiastic hand job." And that one gave me a real hoot. But the reason I'm saying this is I read your comments and I know a lot of you don't like when I talk about drama or get involved in YouTube drama in any capacity. And I know, I understand, and I don't do it often, but sometimes certain situations affect me and make me want to talk about it or point out how horribly the situation was handled. But that's it. It's not going to be like something I do all of the time or anything like that, so don't worry about that. And yeah, that's it. So yeah.